So, I've been wanting to talk about art-related topics for a while, for like the longest time. But even though I'm an artist, I have no knowledge of anything art-related, and I don't feel confident enough to do tutorials, and I'm in no art-related communities, so I really have nothing to speak about, even though I want to talk about stuff. However, as of recent, Twitter has been reminding me that we must all hate Pumpkin the Gentleman, and for a bit I had no idea what the fuck was happening. I found out about Pumpkin the Gentleman a few months ago when tweets of his popped up on my feed warning people about a TikTok user known as Kaylee the Queen. For a bit of quick context, Pumpkin has a younger brother in real life, and when he creates comics involving his younger brother, his little brother, he depicts them as a small pumpkin child thing called Baby Boo Pumpkin. And for some godforsaken reason, the donkey decided to draw Baby Boo Pumpkin in sexual scenarios, specifically sexually violent scenarios, stating that men deserve to know what sexual assault feels like, which is it's a wild take. After that, Pumpkin had my support. I honestly thought that I'd followed him, but it turns out I never did, which would explain why I've seen very little of what people are complaining about. A lot of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter and that's popped up on my Twitter that Pumpkin has posted, it was always like wholesome stuff, so I honestly was really confused when I found out that everyone fucking hated him. Before I get into his actual controversies and quote wrongdoings, I wanted to address some of the absolute boots talking about him at the moment. I now deleted a tweet apparently, and I have to say apparently because I can't find it anywhere after it was deleted. No one else, I can't find anyone else has posted it. Someone apparently took the piss out of Pumpkin for being sexually abused by his mother as a child. Because of the trouble that he's been in recently, they felt like it was justifiable. Which I don't think I need to say this, but apparently people are so blindsided and fucking they think it's okay. It's not fucking okay. Be for fucking real, man. Seriously. Videos have also come out about Pumpkin, and I just want to give you a little taste of the amazing content that I have come across.
It's being groomed. It was memed on hell to back, and I really agree with this because he's a cisgender man. Everyone should know this, by the way. He's only bisexual.
I understand that this argument has something to do with a trans person, right? I get that. But to say he's not trans, he's just bi. I know this is a nitpick, but when I heard that, I was like, oh, just bi, is it? As if to say that bisexual people are somehow inferior. And you know what? I thought maybe I'm just being a bit of a fanny, maybe I'm just being a bit of a snowflake. But then I took this to an actual bisexual person, and that was the immediate reaction that they had. He's just bi.
Say, oh, because he's a man instead of, oh, because he's a bad person. I don't really have anything to say about, like, the I hate all men thing, because I don't really know what to speak on it, you know? And I don't really have a clear opinion for it. Anyway,
If you don't have an opinion, then why the fuck would you bring it up? Genuine question. Why? What is the point? Overall, trying to figure out what his actual wrongdoings have been were an absolute nightmare, because a lot of the quote sources, unquote, are incapable of critical thinking skills, as you've just seen. So I found what I could and read what other people felt was wrong or gross or disgusting that Pumpkin the Gentleman has done, or at least the things that even I find particularly weird. And I want to say, just off the bat, this is not a defense of Pumpkin the Gentleman, okay? He's a 19-year-old man. He's perfectly capable of, again, critical thinking skills. He absolutely does deserve to be criticized for a lot of the things that have been brought up. Just with the way Twitter has been and the way that some of the videos have been, I feel like a lot of people are maybe taking some things a bit too far, not defending the guy. Okay? He's definitely a fucking weirdo, to say the least. So what's been going on currently? If you are a Twitter artist, then you should know that there was this draw your OC in this outfit thing that went on pretty recently. It's a chromie outfit, which, before I get into the rest, a lot of people have been criticizing the artist themselves for this outfit. Even in that video that I showed you, or the clips that I showed you from, even they shit on the outfit and the art. And I just wanted to say, criticize Pumpkin all you want, that is absolutely fine, but don't bring the other artists into this. You're just being a cunt. If you don't like it, fine, that's perfectly fine. I'd love to see you do better, but stop being a cunt for no reason. So this screenshot was cropped by the user that I got it from. I have seen the original drawing, but it was cropped by the other user, which honestly I'm glad, because I would have to crop it myself anyway. But the original includes just a big ass bulge, basically. It's a bulge. Big ass bulge. And people were going absolutely nuts over it because Pumpkin the Gentleman's Twitter was 16 plus. He was uploading drawings quite like this, often including bulges and stuff. And people like to call it softcore porn, which I think is the dumbest fucking name that I've ever heard. Just call it lewd or sexually suggestive. But he's uploading this stuff and his account in his bio said 16 plus. And a lot of people don't like that. Now, I don't expect everyone to vet their followers, and I don't find his content that overly sexual. However, his account being 16 plus is in a way inviting minors to his page, and minors tend to find this content to be a little bit more uncomfortable and or sexual than I think most adults would. Like, again, I don't find it that bad, but maybe when I was like 16 I would have been like, oh! Suggestive themes are often considered suitable for 16 plus, so I can understand why he'd possibly not think anything of it. However, as someone who also draws suggestive artwork, the idea of minors following me, even if they are 16 plus, it makes me kind of uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't want minors on my page. And I think the reason why this is even more of an issue is because he would actually interact with the minors. You know, he wouldn't just ignore them, he would interact with them, which I will go on to show you in a little bit. Yeah, it's weird, okay? Whether you say, oh well, this kind of content is fine for these ages, I personally don't see the biggest issue with it. But at the same time, when you're interacting with them, it's not quite as cut and dry. I understand the anatomy argument. He would say, oh, it's just anatomically correct. Like, you know, I have a penis, so I draw a penis in, well, not really a penis, I draw a bulge. But, yeah, you know, context clues also suggest that this isn't an anatomically correct piece. It's suggestive. So while I think it's to call him a pedophile for this, based off of this alone, it's still definitely inappropriate and pretty fucking weird. Now, since his artwork wasn't actually pornographic, I figured that there must be more to it than just this, right? I have a feeling that people would be a lot more accepting of his apology if this was the only mistake he had made, hence why I went looking into it in the first place. Okay, so another thing that people have had issues with is him fetishizing somebody's insecurity. Now, I think I remember seeing this one and not really thinking much of it, thinking that it was like a body positivity type thing and it was just sweet. But then the more I looked into it and when I saw the original post, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is odd, this is strange. There was an artist who posted like a comic about her insecurities or their insecurities with like their stomach area and how they're trying to get over it and love themselves, whatever, you know the fucking deal. And Pumpkin drew this and uploaded it, which is like, it's kind of blatant fetishizing of this type of body, of this person specifically, right? There have been claims that these guys are or were friends. Can't confirm or deny it, but to give benefit of the doubt, if they are or they were friends, for all we know, this is how they interact personally, and the original artist wasn't upset or uncomfortable. However, if that's not the case, then yeah, it's absolutely fucking weird. Again, like I said, at first I thought it was kind of nice. You know, he was saying that their insecurities are beautiful, but no, it's just not the case, is it? He's blatantly sexualizing it, and while I know some people would find it encouraging to have their bodies, their insecurities be seen in that light, imagine if you were venting about like a really deep insecurity that you have with your body, and then someone else immediately started almost objectifying said insecurity. You know, it's not going to make you any less insecure. If anything, it's just going to make you think like, oh, like it's an object of sexual desire, if you will. I don't think this is the weirdest thing he's done though. But it is definitely strange. Here, he's made a lolly argument. I don't think I need to say much else. Lolly is sick and disgusting. Don't fucking make lolly arguments. Okay, here, this was allegedly a suicidal autistic person who was talking about how they were suicidal. And Pumpkin responded to them, saying, "You've worked this hard to reach this far, and this is how you plan to die. This is how you plan to be remembered by. Really, that's pathetic as shit, man." Which, yeah, I don't have it. I can't play devil's advocate for that one. That is just blatantly fucking rude and mean and awful to say to someone who is expressing that they want to kill themselves. He did then go on to say, to all of you saying I worded this bad or that I'm insensitive, with the possibility Chungus, which is the allegedly autistic suicidal person, might actually go through with it this time, your opinion is the least of my worries. Tell me off after it is confirmed he is alive and safe. Instead, send him support because he needs that right now. I did see someone come to the defense of Pumpkin, saying that it's because Chungus has like a little brother or something that he looks after, and that's why he said what he said, but I don't know, either way, I still feel like it was out of pocket, to say the least. Doesn't... Yes, I'm suicidal, make me feel even more pathetic, you know? This one I found, made me very uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Someone says, I want to get rizzed by the pumpkin too. Pumpkin responds, when you're older. Saying when you're older obviously implies that this person is too young for you, my dude, and you're only 19. Okay, you're like just an adult. So clearly this person's a minor, okay? Maybe don't say that shit to a minor. I know that you're being like, oh, but I'm not rizzing them up. You kind of are though, you know? Why flirt with someone when you know that they are a minor? I take that as flirting. I don't know about you, but I take that as flirting. Again, another one that I can't play devil's advocate for because it's just kind of fucking blatant. You know, it may not have been sexual or he may not have tried to be flirty, but this is still, it's inappropriate. To put it bluntly. Okay, so this is one that I personally find strange. I don't know why this has been such a fucking issue for people, but here we go, I guess. So, Pumpkin made a comic about a girl who used to self-harm that he knew a long time ago when he was in high school. I say a long time ago, he's 19, so I guess it wouldn't have been that long ago. He knew her in high school, right? And people are saying that he shared someone else's self-harm experience without their knowledge or consent. So, coming from an ex-self-harmer, I personally don't find... Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. Okay, you done? Can I continue now? Thank you. I personally don't find an issue with this. You know, artists create based off of their own experiences, right? Especially comic artists. And from what I found, he didn't shame this individual. He didn't take the piss out of them. He goes on to say that he couldn't stop her because she was gonna do what she was gonna do. And he could only bandage her up, which, yeah, that's kind of how it works. The unfortunate thing that I think a lot of people just don't seem to realize is that if someone has a self-destructive addiction, there's fuck all you can do about it. Ultimately, it's their choice, and you can be there as much as possible, but you can't always stop someone from being self-destructive, especially when they're addicted to it. He even goes on to say that he hopes that she's doing well and that she's okay now. Mans didn't even say or do anything out of pocket here. He's allowed to talk about his experiences, even if they do involve other people or someone else's actions. This is such a non-fucking issue. If she gets upset by it, that's her prerogative, but I don't think it's up to you and me to decide whether she would or should be upset by it. Okay, so this one, for reference, I looked through a thread to find a lot of this stuff, and I got jump scared by this. I wasn't expecting it. So, he posted this on his account, saying, feeling silly, so y'all be lucky. This is the closest dick pic you get. And then it's a photo of his penis in his trousers with a ruler next to it. Yeah, but just to let you know, I blurred this out, not just because of YouTube. I blurred it out for myself, because I didn't want this on my phone. I didn't want to see this. I was not expecting, when I was going through this thread, I was not expecting to be fucking FNAF jump scared by this photo. Now, if this was on his 16 plus account, that would be terrible, right? That would be awful. You could, I don't believe in cancellation and shit, but you could cancel him based off of this alone if this was on his 16 plus account, because that would be very inappropriate. However, it's his 18 plus account. So, why the fuck does it matter? Like, I've seen worse on Twitter. I'll go on literally any post on Twitter, and I'll go in the comments. It could be a post about a dog, right, or a seal, and I'll go in the comments, and it'll just be some bitch jiggling her with like a fucking. She's just like, with her, you know, Twitter is a cesspool. Okay, trust me, there's worse on Twitter than this, and it's on an 18+ account. So who the fuck gives a shit? It's weird. It made me uncomfortable, but it is what it is. Okay, so the Japanese argument. He does make the argument that he's Japanese, or he is Japanese. He was brought up in Japan, and this type of media was normal to children. If anything, the media that was normal to children was actually worse than what he posts. He said in this tweet, in addition, erotic clothing and scenes were heavily normalized for young teens to consume aged 11 to 13, which, you know, I'm not going to deny that. It's not my place to deny that, but here's the thing. He'd been told countless times that this is inappropriate, or this is something that he shouldn't be doing, but he was very stubborn. Admittedly, he says here that he was very stubborn. Instead of being stubborn, he should have just changed his account to 18+. That way, everyone's fucking happy. No child is getting exposed to this type of stuff, right? But no, he was stubborn, didn't want to change it, and now this is where we are. Again, I understand the Japanese argument, but people had been saying time and time again, dude, you need to stop this, right? So, overall, I think some things have been blown out of proportion, okay? Like the self-harm comment. But there is no denying that this man was definitely inappropriate in spaces that he actively allowed minors. And yes, for that he should be criticized. He'll probably come back in the near future, and hopefully his account, now being 18+, on Twitter at least, I don't know what it's like on TikTok, there'll be no more interactions like the ones I presented, but only time will tell, and ultimately it's up to you whether you want to support him or not. I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong, that is for you to decide. Personally, I'll be staying away because this man attracts drama like a fucking magnet, and I can't be bothered to read a new wall of text apologizing for his actions every 2 weeks.